Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Startup Central with me, Sumita Karir. Over the next 30 minutes, we will be taking you through not just the top stories, but this is an AI special episode. Remember, last entire week was the AI India Impact Summit here in the national capital. And in fact, it concluded with 85 countries and 3 international organizations signing the New Delhi Declaration at the AI Impact Summit. This is, remember, a day after the event's scheduled conclusion, as officials sought to expand the signatory list to achieve a broad consensus as much as possible. In fact, the major participants, as far as that list is concerned, that included the United States and China, both of whom endorsed the document. In fact, as part of the declarations, let's take a look at the key highlights. Number one, advancing secure and trustworthy and robust AI. That is something that all the countries agreed to, the signatories agreed to. Having a democratic diffusion of AI as a voluntary and non-binding framework, that was number two. The other key highlight of that declaration was that AI should promote economic good and social good as well, and that AI holds the potential to uplift all sections of society. In fact, the wide-scale adoption of AI and AI-based applications holds unprecedented potential to drive economic and social development. So all of these were aspects of that declaration that was signed by 85 countries and 3 international organizations. But that was not the summit. That was not all that the summit was about. In fact, tech giants have committed funneling hundreds of billions of dollars into India's AI efforts. In fact, the IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said that the summit attracted $250 billion worth of investments in AI infrastructure and saw more than 5 lakh visitors. So overall, it was an event of grand scale. It saw a lot of innovations by companies as to how innovations led by AI are getting woven into segments as diverse as healthcare, IT, and so many other sectors. In fact, let's take a look at these exclusive conversations that we clocked at the summit. In fact, let's first take a look at this exclusive conversation that we had with Jacob Helberg. He spoke about unveiling the Pax Silica initiative. He noted that the initial list featured only a handful of countries and that he wanted to use the platform to make a strong statement with India's inclusion. Let's listen in.
Well, Pax Silica is an economic security coalition, and we're thrilled to have welcomed India today. It really is an economic security alliance that doesn't follow typical geopolitical geometries. It is a group of countries that know that shared supply chains are actually more binding than shared ideology. That's why we've had countries like Qatar and Israel actually co-sign together. We're very excited about India joining because India is one of the rare countries on earth that actually provides the kind of scale in terms of human capital as well as just manufacturing capacity to really complement the U.S. tech sector in very powerful ways.
Right. Mr. Helberg, but India was not really part of the list that came out initially. Was there any thought that perhaps was going across your mind, especially when it comes to that particular list? And it's coming after a while.
It's only been about a month and a half, so it's not that long. The initial list included a handful of countries. We have then, added the UAE, we've added Qatar, we've signed a bilateral statement with Israel. We wanted to use the India AI Impact Summit to really make a big statement about the U.S.-India technology collaboration. We're very proud to have reached this milestone right on the heels of the U.S.-India joint statement on trade. So it's all coming together in a way that really provides huge momentum for the U.S.-India relationship.
Just one final question, and I understand that you have a meeting lined up after this. In terms of the actionable outcomes with respect to Pax Silica over the next couple of years, what are you looking at?
So Pax Silica is a platform for government-to-government collaboration, but it's also a platform for private sector collaboration. And one of the very exciting things is that we've already seen companies, a lot of American companies that were here at this forum, already announce incredible projects. We've seen submarine cables connecting North America to India announced. We have seen Micron, which is an American company, announce very large facilities that's actually going to be a center of excellence to train models that will help complement its facilities in the United States. So we're very excited about all of this cross-pollination between our tech sectors, and that's exactly the kind of partnerships that we want to encourage.
In fact, ladies and gentlemen, onto a mega exclusive. I caught up with the chairman of Tata Group, N. Chandrasekaran, right on the heels of the collaboration with OpenAI. He believes that this revolution is going to help us solve major global concerns. Let's listen in.
Since you know, we are playing across the AI stack. I think our commitment to the data center, we announced 1 gigawatt AI data center some time ago, and with OpenAI we have worked on a broader partnership where the first 100 megawatts we will start with OpenAI and then it will grow to 1 gigawatt. We will also be building a lot of industry solutions, and I also talked about the AI operating model. So we will build all these solutions and we will leverage OpenAI wherever it's possible.
So when you talk about building solutions for industry, what core sectors are you going to be looking at primarily?
We'll look across multiple sectors. It's not going to be limited to one sector. There will be one, what I call the AI operating system, which will run across. Then we'll build solutions on top.
So just one final question, since this entire conversation here has been about democratization of AI, and of course we're seeing a lot of US companies come here as well. In terms of the kind of convergences that you can find between the United States model of and strategy of developing AI versus what India is looking at, which is a very cost-efficient model, what do you think can be the convergences on a government-to-government basis and on a company-to-company?
See, there's no reason for any comparisons because you've got to look at technology and AI in the context of India. So I think we have a huge population, we have a massive need for transformation, and we will address significant number of challenges, and we will empower every citizen in the country. So I think AI is going to be a very, very important technology,
Right,
which will help us solve huge number of problems.
right.
India is prepared for the AI opportunity. Well, that's the word that's coming in from Mr. Chandra. In fact, on the sidelines of the AI summit, I caught up with the Prince of AI, Sam Altman, who said that the AI revolution will definitely impact jobs all across the world for better. Let's listen into what did he exactly mean when he touched upon that aspect of labor markets.
Yeah, democratization of AI is something that we really believe in, and I think this is, as the largest democracy in the world, will be an incredibly important force in that, but we're thrilled to contribute in any way we can.
Right, just one final question on the issue of jobs.
Well, AI will certainly impact jobs in many ways. Some jobs will go away entirely, some jobs will be hugely augmented, and then we'll find many new kinds of jobs to do, but all of human history suggests that with new technology we find better ways to work, new ways to be useful to each other, new ways to express our creativity. I don't think it'll be any different this time, but certainly what it means to work will change a lot.
Right. Mr. Altman, just one final question, and I have to ask you this. This is essentially about, what the United States and companies like yourselves are doing, which is a very resource-intensive model versus what India is doing with a very, affordable models. We are focused on developing apps. How do you really see the convergence between India and the United States and companies in these two geographies can come about?
AI is a technological revolution. I've heard people give different examples for it. One that Sundar has given is it's like electricity. This is something that people will use in all sorts of ways, generated in all sorts of ways, used for all sorts of downstream products. And this will be a global thing with many different components to it. And, there will be big models, there will be small models, there will be a whole ecosystem of different agents interacting. I think that's all good.
And we also caught up with Sanjeev Bikhchandani, ACE investor, on how AI is working to change the world of business and startups. Let's listen into a slice of that conversation as well.
Almost every startup we meet now has got an element of AI in it. Some are AI first, but some just use AI for the value prop. So almost every investment that is made will now have AI in it.
Okay. So what about your company and the business that you're currently operating in, the kind of efficiencies that it's going to generate? Because what we've seen here at the expo area is that it's driving a lot of efficiencies, which essentially means that a lot of jobs will also be lost because those will be done by machines.
So we are doing a lot of work in AI. We are getting efficiencies, but we've not reduced any people. We're just doing more work. So the same number of people are doing more work. So I'll give you an example. We have 1.5 lakh clients, 1,30,000 clients, 1.5 lakh clients in Naukri. The top 20% we service with the field sales force. Next 30% we service the telesales force. Okay. The bottom 50% nobody calls on because they're very small clients. Now those are being called by voice bots. So more work is being done using AI as opposed to downsizing people.
Yes. So what is deployment of AI within the companies, within the InfoEdge group of companies is going to look like?
So we're working on it. We've got about, I think, between about 130 AI engineers, 20 or 30 ML engineers. And they're continuously working on product innovation, making our search and match better, better customer service, better customer interfaces. So all that work is going on.
Right. So just one final question, and this is essentially on the India-US trade deal. Of course, we've just signed the Pax Silica also, and earlier in the deal, there was a section particularly with respect to India buying more of American technologies, including ICT products. How do you really see these developments, and who is gaining more in these? Are these truly complementary in nature?
So look, trade is usually almost always mutually beneficial. That's why it happens. Right? We gain something. That's why you buy their products. They gain something. That's why they buy our products. We have to see the fine print in the deal before we finally come to a conclusion. But I'm quite confident that it'll work out to both countries' mutual benefit.
All right. So thank you very much.
So, people talk about where is India going to buy $500 billion of American product.
Yes.
So look, let's see the fine print. If Venezuelan oil is included in American product and we import a bunch of Venezuelan oil, the 500 billion is easily achieved.
And talking to ET now, Paytm's top boss Vijay Shekhar Sharma said that while there will be job losses in certain sectors and professions, the jobs will certainly see an evolution in the coming years. We also spoke to him about where does he see VCs making bets in the AI ecosystem and how is AI being deployed at Paytm. Let's listen into what VSS had to tell to us last week.
Company like us are expanding in AI itself as a business case, so we will expand the jobs. So specifically for us, while we will remove the, let's say, certain jobs in optimization of customer care because the model is taking care, but then I will use the same person and expert that person into operation risk and other things. So we may be moving the job to a higher skill. That is what it is. But at the same point of time, the bigger thing that is to be remembered is that as a company, we will recruit more number of people. We are recruiting more engineers than ever before.
You are, but you also did cut jobs a couple of months back. Like I said,
that it is important. I gave an example in another conversation a few minutes back that when, let's say, cellular phone came, STD PCO jobs disappeared because there was no use case left for it. Yes. Now, again, the same way, but that did not mean that the person wasn't able to do what it was intended to do. So there will be an evolution of jobs, and I give an example of it. In my opinion, the world will discover newer services. AI's ability is not to take the job away, but AI's ability is to add the ability to individual that you can go to a higher purpose job.
Yes. So what is the workforce mix that you're essentially looking at when it comes to AI? Because agents are also going to be.
Yeah, that's right. So agents are going to be or not. I mean, this is, so let's say what we are talking today in 2026, people have been talking since 2024, 2025, 27 would be a little more. The good thing will happen is by that time you will start to see more jobs of a different kinds and more revenue models of different kind.
When we talk about startups, we cannot not talk about you. Similarly, when we talk about AI, what is the role that India is going to play? Abhi, when you talk about the startup ecosystem, it is the third largest.
I think the best thing I can tell you is that world will see use case centric LLMs. For example, like right now we are talking about horizontal LLMs, and you can imagine this like an engine, if you will. It's an intelligence engine, but over the period you can make small engine, larger engine, one engine that can work for passenger vehicle, one engine that can work for trucks or bus. So these are the use cases. Right now we are excited about that world has an engine that has an ability to pull a lot of weight. Now, different use cases is equal to the automobile engine's use case. So India will produce tens of more engine types, and there will be tens of more companies to produce those kind of engines. And those use cases will solve the problem of industry. I can give you another example right away on the, let's say we pick up extreme corner scenario for agriculture or anything else that you want to pick up. Now, the solution that India will create by models that have been trained on insights and logical knowledge of this place will be the solution for Global South. The Global South, the 6 billion people haven't had the access to technology and the ability of problem solution. We may be misunderstanding the market size and the job loss because we ourselves are the first rightful owner of Global South as a market.
Absolutely.
And that is what the power that you think India will gather and generate. And that will mean that India's economy will accelerate towards the vision that we are talking about 2047.
Absolutely. In fact, talking about startups, we also caught up with Sarvam's co-founder Vivek Raghavan. This on the back of Sarvam launching a 105 billion parameter foundational large language model, along with a suite of tools that are designed for commercial use. Let's listen into what Mr. Raghavan had to say on how that AI model is different from the ones that are currently available in the market and the AI advantage as far as that model is concerned.
These models are basically firstly, the architecture is a very efficient architecture. The focus is to make sure that whatever models are, they're efficient. That's one thing. So that's something that's very interesting, because we do believe that in the world that there may be for 95% of things, you don't need those really large models.
Okay.
So therefore, now there are certain things that, I mean, if there's a model which is 100 times bigger than you, it will certainly be better on certain things. I'm not saying that. But then for things jo hame chahiye, the tasks that we are interested in, we want to be the best in the world.
Can India build world-class models?
Bilkul. Why not? That I think the only thing that prevents us from building a world-class model is capital, right? That's really the difference. If I want to build a model 20 times bigger than with 3 times the data, I need 20 times the capital, right? That's
Well, that's Mr. Raghavan, and my colleague Prakash Priyadarshi caught up with Puneet Chandok, the president of Microsoft India and South Asia. He shared insights on how AI is all set to transform the workplace. Let's listen in to him.
We're showing massive solutions. We've got a massive booth, as you see this. We're showing a lot of work that we're doing for eSanjeevani, which is the healthcare platform, 400 million plus sessions done. We're showing eShram, which is a labor platform that we're building using AI for 300 million plus workers in the country, unorganized workers. We're making CVs for them. We're getting them interview practice. We're getting them jobs. We're doing Crime OS, which is with the Maharashtra CM and the government to do a co-pilot for cyber investigators, cyber crime investigators. 25 police stations done, 100 police stations to be done. So there's a lot of interesting stuff that is being shown across both enterprises and public sector in India.
How important is India for Microsoft's future strategy?
One of the most important countries for us. Again, given the talent in this country, we've got 22,000 plus engineers who are building AI for us globally. We've got a massive build out with the country with the $17.5 billion investment in infrastructure and data centers. We're building the largest data center capacity in the country by middle of this year. Sovereign solutions. We're training 20 million people, 5.5 million people already trained. So it's a massive part of our strategy. It's a fast-growing market, one of the fastest-growing co-pilot markets in the world. Continuous double-digit growth in Azure, which shows you that there's enough market demand and we're building for the future.
Any sort of policy support that you needed from the government side to develop India's AI ecosystem going forward?
I think the government's already, on the front foot and way ahead of us, right? I mean, if you look at the recent budget, the announcements for data centers are a step in the right direction. The whole spend on AI mission is an incredible step in the right direction. And the government is constantly talking to us. We're learning, we're bringing best practices from the world to the government. And then the government is framing policies, making sure that we take care of Indian citizens, Indian sovereignty, Indian trust, Indian innovation, but also bring the best of the world to India. And I think that's something which we should all feel proud of.
That's Microsoft's Puneet Chandok. But Babakar Judd, the CTO of Cognizant, he highlighted how India's startup culture is deeply impressive and increasingly drawing global attention. He said that Cognizant remains open to investing in Indian startups. Take a look.
See, for us, we have a platform called Wipro Intelligence. So Wipro Intelligence has a suite of platforms, solutions, offerings that we have. So there are multiple solutions that we are showing there. And I think we are excited to have you visit us and look at the stall as well.
Okay, so where does India stand as far as AI ecosystem development is concerned?
I think India really is at the cusp of democratizing AI for the societal use. In India, we know we have a huge talent base for technology. We also have a lot of, I don't want to call them problems, but they are good use cases for us to apply AI. And we have the great technology firms here. We are serving the world for our clients, and it's a great opportunity for us to really leverage that talent pool to solve the problems that are there for India.
Okay. What new investment or partnership are you planning in the AI space, especially focused on India?
We already have very good partnerships in place. We have all our technology partners, whether it's Microsoft, IBM, Google, everyone we partner with. I think what we are really interested is technologies on one side, really take the technology and apply it for the solutions. I think that is where we come into play. So we have been partnering very well with the clients in India or with the society in terms of building the skilling ecosystem for the country, where we are partnering with the universities, colleges across the entire country. We are also partnering with a lot of government programs to really help in making AI.
It's huge. It's big. I mean, just the magnitude, the number of people here. The showcases are quite interesting. India starts from a base of it's like a technological IT base. So I think there's a lot of basically knowledge already as well. So it's less about educating people as much as you see elsewhere. People seem to kind of know what they're looking for, and they're coming out here. Also, the startup scene is quite thriving, which is surprising.
Will Cognizant be interested in sort of investing into the startup ecosystem?
Always, yes, of course. If there is an interesting opportunity, we're always open to that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So let me ask you, Babak, since you have sort of seen this overall aspect of AI and how it's playing out all across the globe. What we've seen post Anthropic's Claude tool came up. There's been a bloodbath on Wall Street and here in IT stocks as well. It happened right after. So what is your impression of how companies like yourselves are going to be able to sort of navigate this onslaught? And there are fears about the complete wipeout of the IT industry. I know that sounds exaggerated, but that is the view that some have held.
I think that the world will come to the recognition that AI builder companies like Cognizant have a very, very important role in agentifying the businesses of the future, because AI is making the transition from being this magical system that you just turnkey have running to something that is engineered in order to be reliable and to be customized to the various different businesses. And for that, as always, companies like us are needed. We've been here before. With other similar technologies too, where our demise has been prematurely sort of announced. But yeah, I think we have a very, very bright future in AI.
Okay.
In fact, talking to ET now, InMobi founder and CEO Naveen Tiwari said that AI is all set to transform education access for every child and significantly strengthen healthcare delivery across the country. Let's listen into what Mr. Tiwari had to say on the sidelines of the AI summit.
Firstly, this AI Impacts Summit has just been phenomenal. It's audacious. Think of the size of the event and how people are showing up for it. All sorts of people. So it's showing India is ready and wants to make a big leap in AI. So that's very important. I think about the opportunity in two buckets. One, it's the opportunity of impacting the people who have been deprived of many things in life. For example, there are so many children in our country who are not getting proper education. So we should create, for example, an AI assistant for teachers, so that the teachers can be assisted for better education of our children in the country. Similarly, doctors. We have less number of doctors, and we need better doctors. Hey, can we create an AI assistant that really helps the doctors become really better, so on and so forth. So suddenly it starts to become an economic leveler in the world. That's one. The second big opportunity that I see with AI is when the internet came 30 years ago, our country was not ready. By the 2010s, when we really got to it, we could only build platforms that were required just for our country. So we were catching up. But in AI, that's not the case. We can actually lead with this. Of course, we are not there on the frontier models, but on the application layer, India will lead. But application layers for the world, not just for India.
Okay.
Well, that was a special episode on the AI India Impact Summit. We got you the top voices from the startup, tech and IT ecosystem. Hope you liked watching the show as much as we did putting it together for you. From me and the entire team, goodbye and thank you very much for tuning in.